We
What is up, folks, friends, family,
back.
neighbors? We're back at it, man. We can't get enough of this. Us talking, our, ourselves talking.
Hearing our own voices.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, the way I see it, the way I figure it is we were going to have these conversations anyway, so you might as well join us.
Yeah, why
And
not?
hey, actually, if you want to join us, go ahead and go to streamyard.com/Facebook or whatever the link is at the bottom of this post to go ahead and leave comments. You can leave comments if you want, but you won't have your profile name or picture or whatever. You know, do what you want. But you can get on a conversation with us. But anyway, we're going to talk about it anyway. And we've been going back and forth on Messenger for like most of the day, trying to like gather our thoughts and feelings about what we all just witnessed. And we're here to talk about that MK that just came out. And I just want to say that I found that I was able to really enjoy it, and that it met my expectations pretty on the spot, on the dot, but does suffer from some pretty glaring and pretty stupid things that could have easily probably been avoided. But overall, first thoughts, I dug it, and I'm down for more. I'm going to do a couple clicky things. Matty, what'd you think about it?
I thought it was trash. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched a movie and been like, I'm fine with turning this off and just like going to bed. And I was
Yeah.
watching it with some
Hey.
people, and it was like, it became more fun because they made fun of it. But at the beginning, it was kind of hard. But when I realized how I felt about it, it was fine for them to talk through because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
um,
it
I
was
will say
definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead,
will
please.
say that I would watch another one. I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. I don't play a lot of the games, but I love the realm which these characters exist. I love that it's like a horror game sort of with like kung fu elements, and it has everything a Matty likes, right? Like monsters, creatures. Yeah,
Right.
this is like my bag, man. I'm not good at fighting games and they make me upset, so I ain't gonna play them. Too old for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just I so everyone's like, I keep on seeing this thing that says, well, it's Mortal Kombat, it's a video game movie, and I was like, that's what we all said. That's what we all said about comic book movies till that mold was broken. And
That's true.
maybe I was expecting too much for Mortal Kombat to break this mold, but I don't think I was asking too much because there are glaring things in this movie that I thought if they just pulled out could have made a 10 times better movie and broken this mold. And
Yeah.
if they would have taken it in a slightly different direction. I mean, the Mortal Kombat anime came out, I think, like a year ago. Is that right?
Yeah. Scorpion's Revenge. Check that one
And
out.
I think
It's
that did a 10 times better job that this movie tried to do, and decided to
yeah.
veer off to take that other fork in the road that you shouldn't go down. It's dark, it's scary, don't go that way. It
It might
leads to
have
no good.
it might have even benefited them to like consult Boone and Tobias. Like, just go to the heads and be like, "What do we do here? Like, just what are your
Yeah.
spitball some ideas? We're gonna see what we can come up with because we're gonna go ahead and spoil this. I'd say because we got to talk about some shit here.
Yeah, I mean,
So
let's get into it. If you don't want to
apologies.
watch, turn it off.
Well, not so coarse, but hey, I'd say turn it off
Sorry,
right
I'm
now and
bitter.
come back later after you watch it. But we're gonna spoil from this point forward. Um, but I can agree with a lot of the criticisms. I totally get it. From a cinematic fan standpoint, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. From a video game, explicitly Mortal Kombat fan standpoint, it ain't that bad. It's actually pretty good. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of battling with that internally. But I really like a lot of. The way I just stated it earlier to Maddie was like I'm more of a cup half full kind of guy on this movie, where Maddie is more like there's a glass uh, of sorts. So
Get it out of here.
so I totally can get it. I totally get it. I'm not gonna try and say like this is the best movie ever and you're all like crazy or whatever, but I do think aspects of it are being overlooked, and other aspects are being judged harshly, and other aspects are being judged and criticized spot on, and they need to think about that next go around. This was provisional, mind you, Steve McCoy or whoever. The costumes were good.
Agreed. I did enjoy the costumes.
So let's talk about some things that you liked, that we liked, that
Oh, yeah.
stood out and
So
enjoyed.
so the opening 7 minutes of this flick are, man, I was like, buckle up, we're ready to go. Let's take this trip.
Totally.
Yes. And then we got to the real world, I guess. And I
Yeah.
said, wow, man, I don't really care about this new guy.
Yeah.
So the thing with me is if you're going to get a new character into the, which I don't mind at all, but you have to make me believe that, like when he showed up, I was like, is this his daughter or his sister? Who's this girl?
Right.
Where are we? Who is this? Why do I care? And there was really nothing there. I dude, I fuck, man. It just
Right.
I just
It, oh yeah.
I they had a good formula with the first movie, and did I want to see a repeat of that? No. But
Yeah.
I think the strength here is you have Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and I think Andrew said this in our messenger, is like, I think they should have focused on that more instead of trying to bring in this like human element of like, yeah, we're all like this guy down on our luck, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, I guess I'm not an MMA fighter who's bad at that. I can't relate to that character anyway, but I'm like, oh, he has a daughter and a wife. Okay, here we go. I can get into that. I've been in relationships before. I can deal with this. And I just like never gravitated towards this dude. And honestly, in
Yeah.
the beginning, Scorpion and Sub-Zero for me, like I love them as characters. And
Mhm.
I also think your two greatest actors in this movie
Or
are
sidelined
are sidelined for actors, in my opinion, across the board are terrible. I did not like anyone. I
I'm
thought
coming to the I'm going to come to the defense to some of these actors. I thought the characters were spot on. I ended up liking Cole more, especially after he got like his abilities and stuff like that. The whole family element, it's like, yeah, you get what they're trying to do, but it's just eating up time, and and he was a
you know
hard
what else ate
character
up time?
what?
I'll wait. I'll wait. I got things to say.
Yeah. So, and Mortal Kombat is Sub-Zero and Scorpion, It's all those other characters. It's all the original seven. And it would have been nice to see them incorporate more of that. Some of the defense to making Cole Young was that they didn't want like a 90s film actor caricature leading the film. So they didn't put Johnny Cage in, and they already told the Liu Kang story. So in my mind, it is Sub-Zero and Scorpion. So definitely should have maybe focused on that more. However, I did enjoy each time that we got a new character, and I didn't think that they were all such terrible actors. I thought they were actually kind of nailing it. The only one I didn't really like watching was Jax, but he was even all right in my opinion. But go ahead.
I just want to say that I was like, I don't feel like I got enough of the. Liu Kang bugged the shit out of me, man. I thought he was terrible.
He was awesome.
Soon as he walks on screen, I did not believe this man's Liu Kang, and maybe that's because I still got that OG Mortal Kombat movie in my head.
Robin Show's good. I like Ludi Lin. I thought he brought this whole like kind of more sense of being from this kind of more mysticism kind of perspective and kind of knowing what's up. I like the way that he used the fire enraged, but also like used it tenderly with the family and stuff like that. I thought him and Kung Lao were dope. But go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of it. I like Kung Lao. I thought he was solid. A lot of the mates
like
I
a
was
chump.
watching, dude.
Anyway, sorry,
So
getting ahead.
ju-
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say what I would have done is maybe done the exact opposite and killed Liu Kang and just had Kung Lao be, because it's like, oh, we all expect Liu Kang. Dang, throwing misdirections all our way. What's gonna happen towards the end of Mortal Kombat? We don't know, and I don't know. It was lame. So I think to me, the other performances I didn't really like was Shang Tsung and Raiden. I was kind of explaining this on the messenger that I kind of need Raiden to be like serious at times, but I kind of want him to be a little Yoda and not like goofy Yoda, but like I can crack a joke or two, but don't fuck with me because I control lightning,
Right.
because he's just as powerful as Shang Tsung. He just like follows rules more closely and believes in the Earth realm and blah blah blah. So I was like, and like do I need Christopher Lambert to come back? No. Do I need this character whitewashed? No. I just need a little more
You have
pizzazz.
Outworld.
Yeah, I just need a little more pizzazz for my Raiden to like. When I have a villain and a hero right next to each other, I don't want them to be almost the exact same.
Yeah.
To me, it was
fair
they were
enough.
both cold. And so even in my villains, I need a little more like villainous, like I'm coming at you, because
cheap. He was cheap. Everybody was cheap. It was kind of a cheap sell here.
and I understand that probably what happened was that they're like, do you want me to play it like OG Mortal Kombat actor, and they're probably like, no, do your own thing, which is
Yeah.
fine. But I think you do have to, like, your soul is mine. You got to emphasize that shit a little more. Like when he's
Yeah. Give
sucking
him
Kung
something.
Lao,
I'll
you
tell
got to
you,
have him say something cool.
I'm not a big fan of that actor. I forgot his name. Apologies. From The Dark Knight. I'm good at calculation character.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen him and stuff, and he's been all right. And I was like, I feel like this guy,
Yeah, he's okay. I definitely thought they could have cast Shang Tsung better, much better. But then also there was really not a whole lot in the script. He just kind of sat there and just like waited and pointed, and minions came, And the real captivating threat was Sub-Zero the whole time. And I think definitely fair criticisms. You're not wrong. I thought Raiden was cool in that we saw at least a new take on Raiden and an Asian one at that, which was cool. You know, mad props for the predominantly Asian cast in this film.
Oh yeah, for sure, love it.
A moment I really enjoyed was when they were like goading.
Oh yeah, we're talking about things we like. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, we're just kind of. I'll be the half full. You could be the half empty or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I did like things.
I really liked that moment when they were like goading Kano into like getting him to reveal his power. But all the stuff that they were actually saying, I was like, this is awesome. This is like Asian actors kind of finally telling like the swinging big dick Hollywood assholes to kind of like scoot out of the way and let's get here. It was like speaking to me. I'm not Asian, but it was like speaking to me in a way. I was like, this is a cool scene. Like, what is going on here? This is like really daring. But then at a certain point, I'm like, oh, they're just like teasing him so he'll get his stupid power or whatever. But I really liked that moment. I thought it showcased both Louis Lin and I forgot the other guy's name who played Kung Lao. But he was really good. Like, that first time he snaps up out of that portal, it was little things like that, like snapping out of the portal, that they didn't do some CW speed running for Cabal. Like it actually looked like the game. And, I kind of, with this one, I really picked and chose my battles as I went along because it was rough. I will totally agree with you. It was hard to get through at times. Also, I watched with my buddy Jerry, who has been on the show a couple of times, and he was like my first Mortal Kombat buddy ever. So we were really watching it through the eyes of those kids, for certain. So I really, in that regard, it was like a good day at the movies for me. But I can see from the way that you watched it with your roommates and friends and projector, like I really hope somebody got some good jabs in there because this is a perfect movie to fucking clown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. So I was like trying. I was just like trying to watch it with them, and it was a lot of like, I don't know. It wasn't the best experience. It wasn't the worst experience. It was fun to have some people over and kind of chill for a minute. I think from now on, I just have to watch movies on my own because I do want to take in that initial viewing the way I would like to. But I mean, it was fun to watch. What was I going to say? Sorry. So the thing I want to say is I feel like people might think, Matty, it's Mortal Kombat. Let it go. And I say to you this, listen, I'm here for it. Take me to Outworld. Take me to whatever other realms exist in the Mortal Kombat franchise. I'm ready. Scorpion in Hell. Show me Scorpion in Hell. I'm here for it. I understand the budget might not have been there. Maybe, I don't know. Don't show me some flashbacks. I don't know. I was here to go to another realm. And I hated that I didn't feel like I ever got transported anywhere. I was like, wait, are we still on Earth? Like, then it would have like flashed like Shang Tsung talking to just like Sub-Zero and some kind of weird, like spatial kind of weird thing. And then it would zoom in. It's all green screen and kind of, I mean, it's pretty good green screen. It's not terrible. For me, it's shot really well. I thought like the cinematography was really good and they did the best they could with it. But like I was ready to just be like, this is Mortal Kombat, man. I'm ready. Take me to some weird dungeons and shit, man. Let's go. And then I felt like everything was like, oh, it's where Cole trains. It's just all iced over. Cool. Dude, it was just like, and I get it's probably a lot of budgetary constraints, but dude, you got to like, for one thing, you got to go all out. Like Goro on a farm. Come on. I remember when we got finished and Brock, my roommate, looked over at me. He's like, he fought Goro on a farm. And I went, I don't want to talk about it. And I was just like, that's like, it was fine. Like when Sub-Zero like goes after the main dude. What's the character's name? I don't even fucking know.
Cole Young.
I don't know. I don't care. I love that, like, that was a city scene, and when he fights Jax, I liked a lot of that stuff. So this is what I'll say. This is what I liked. I liked the opening. I liked every scene that Sub-Zero showed up for, because I think Joe Taslim is a really good actor and great martial artist. And
this is really going to be a commercial for Warrior, so stay tuned.
Yeah, you could have basically just made Sub-Zero the main villain and got rid of everyone else, and I'd be like, this movie's amazing.
Totally.
Because no one else really did anything. Like, Cabal was cool. I will give you that. I really liked him. I didn't hate the accent. I didn't love it. It was a little off-putting, I think, because everyone else seemed to be like they were taking everything so seriously. Because to me, like, Kano wasn't funny. He was just annoying, and I was supposed to hate him. And the other thing that also kind of irked me about Kano was, like, he's the guy that turns. Like, of course he is. Yeah. Of course he's this guy. You're not misdirecting anyone. He's Kano. Yeah, I just thought it was like such dumb writing. It's like, I don't know, man.
Some of that stuff I let slide. I knew Kano was going to be a piece of shit the whole time, and I thought that guy effectively portrayed him, and I even chuckled at, I felt like he had good timing, but I totally hear you. Like, the lines he was selling to the audience were really stupid, and the references were, lame as hell.
Dude, there's just so much that I felt was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. This frame I stopped on here with Jack. I feel like this is where the movie starts to really kind of start going downhill, is after Jax loses his arms.
However, I want to say real quick that this whole fight scene, you think it's just going to be a short one, actually pretty long, and I thought it was a pretty good fight scene.
It was pretty
and cool, it was pretty brutal when he like rips his arms off and then like punches him and his head hits that concrete block going down. You're like, oh shit, I know Jax is in this movie, but I don't know if Jax is in this movie. And I was like, so at this point I was still on. I was like, all right, cool. I'm here for the birthmark bullshit. And I'll tell you the moment that I told you the moment that really was like, fuck this. I was just kind of like, this is what we're doing now. It was when they're first of all, when they were like, we got to train you. I was like, hold up. I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan, but generally what I gather from this is we're taking the world's best fighters, taking them to Mortal Kombat because they are the world's best. This is the best of the best. They need no more training. They don't need anything because they're amazing, right? Let's go train them real quick because we got to open up these powers. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
They were tapping into the inner
No,
range,
it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Training, exactly.
Yeah, it was a training. I got a training montage, dude. I didn't need that. I already
the Arcana thing was dumb. It was silly. Could have been anything else really. But
I mean, if it was shorter and didn't take up much time, because like I said, the most compelling characters to me were Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and instead of
they should have just been like, as soon as you enter this realm, you get fucking powers.
No, dude, this is what you do. It's Mortal Kombat. We already got powers, and just have your main character try to focus his his heritage powers.
Maybe there's a lot of aspects of. I mean, I guess there's a lot of characters and stuff that are in like our real world, quote unquote, and they have powers in the game.
So
that's just the thing you have to do. Like, I totally agree, but that's like the thing you have to do. You have to come up with some like pseudo science or pseudo spiritual thing to sell it. And you're right, we just haven't evolved from that point. But I guess I saw it a mile away and I was like, okay, whatever.
Dude, I think after it was over, when we ended the movie and everyone was like, what do you think? I was like, well, they didn't go to fucking Mortal Kombat, and that's like fucking name of the movie.
I know
I was like, are you like, that was the biggest like, wait, what? Because at this point, let's just say, like, I would love, if there's a sequel, I'm down. I'll be there. I'm excited to see what comes from this. I think this has a cool visual look. I thought the costumes were great. I thought a lot of the gore was pretty good. I didn't think it was as over the top as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they were selling it like you're going to puke and run out of the theater and shit.
And I mean, I knew I wasn't, because I was like, well, I've seen worse. Stupid. So, I mean, I did think the Kung Lao chainsaw hat was fucking sick, because everyone there I was sitting with was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But after that, it was cool, like that was like the best one. And then the arm rips on Jax, and then the rest of it was like, when Cole fights Goro was kind of lame. I was like, he doesn't, and it's like, what you got to make, because the thing with adding a new character is you have to make new fatalities for this guy, which is not the game creators. It's
Yeah.
just a script writer and then the director going, well, I don't
Right.
like that.
He
You
should
know,
have
it's
used some
like
of that farm equipment, like milled him up or something. It was great to see Goro in a more mobile kind of state, even though it was obviously CG.
I will
You
take
know,
the
it's.
puppet any day over that
I like the
trash.
puppet. I like the puppet for sure. The puppet's great. But it was nice to get a glimpse, I'll say, of what could have been. In a way, I thought he went out like a chump, but it was still nice to see him show up to the party. I liked Cole's power, like the whole absorbing energy power. I thought the armor looked cool, tone fuzz. But the whole time, every time you see the guy, I like the guy. But every time you see him, you're like, why? Why are you here?
Dude, I
You could have not
agree.
even had Johnny Cage yet, for that compromise or
No.
whatever. But you have all these other characters. You have an original 7 characters to like pull from. And so I like seeing Kano. I like seeing
This
Sonya and Jax.
I
But
think it's funny that this movie is about
ensemble.
Cole Young and it's his family. It seems all his powers come from his family. Why don't you
Hmm.
have Scorpion come in sooner? It's part of his heritage.
Right.
And
Right.
I had never understood, like, because the whole time I was watching, I was like, Scorpion's in this movie, right? Like, I know they have a fight scene at some point. Like, when we going to introduce him? And then he hands him the spears,
Yeah.
like, call upon your ancestor. And I was like, oh, well, this is the final fight. So cool. I guess I'll just buckle in until this fucking scene happens.
It might be
And
because I'm stoned, but I just realized something. Speaking to your point, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
oh, no, you're fine. Go.
But they bookend the movie the same way they bookend this poster. It's
Yes.
like Scorpion looking badass. Everything in the middle looks cool, but it's kind of confusing and it feels a little like bullshit. And then Sub-Zero, yeah. So that's kind of like the poster in of itself is a good metaphor for the experience. So
Yeah. Oh, man, maybe I did go in with higher expectations and maybe I shouldn't have, but I don't think I don't think
I
you should
think,
go
yeah,
into a movie like that. Mortal
yeah,
Kombat to me could have broken the mold of video games. It could have been really good. I mean, the anime, I don't care for the art style, but I think it has a pretty intriguing story for the most part. And
yeah,
you could have picked and chose from that. I really liked how Scorpion teamed up with the good guys and kind of was like, fuck the Hell Realm or whatever that realm's called.
uh-huh,
I'm gonna, like I'm trying to get my revenge and do my thing in that. And I was like, that's cool. I would have loved to have seen that turn in this, just like him coming out of
mhm.
hell and being like, I'm gonna do my own thing. Try and stop me. You know, I just, I,
I
dude, I
think
just,
I wouldn't, yeah, I totally get what you mean, where you're coming from and where other people are coming from with these criticisms about it. I've said what I had to say. That's really what we're here for, is just to get it out. And, I think we're both, uh, you know, I doubt we'll be as interested in the sequel news as we were for this one leading up to it. But,
yeah,
we'll stay on top of that stuff. We'll talk about it. And then we'll prepare maybe for a sequel. It would be nice, and it is the age of the internet. This is the first one going in low budget or whatever. They could do the Suicide Squad kind of treatment to it, and somebody could take the reins here and be like, "That ain't Mortal Kombat, you motherfuckers! Pow! This is Mortal Kombat." And then
pull a Ryan Johnson and be like,
we'll all be
Cole's dead,
gyrating in our
Sonya's dead,
chairs because we'll
Jax
be in
is
the
dead.
theaters. And anyway, so it was, the hype was real fun. The hype was great.
I
Sometimes
mean,
maybe got to learn to just enjoy that part of it.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was not going to be great just because the birthmark thing really, like, I was like, why? And then, so I'm just going to say this from now on, if I'm watching a beloved franchise of mine that it's not even beloved to me, I really enjoy it. If they go, hey, here's a new character and here's a dumb concept to like get him into it, I'm going to be like, this movie's
Uh-huh.
going to be trash until someone
Yeah.
breaks that mold. Because the
You got to
same
shoot
thing
from the
happened.
hip, man.
Well, the same thing happened with Hellboy, in my opinion. They like have Agent
Yeah.
Myers and no one cares.
Yeah.
And you just
Exactly.
want to see Hellboy and Abe Sapien and
Yeah.
blanking on the Selma Blair's character. Remember the actor name?
Sure. What is her name? Dang.
Oh,
Sexist.
I know. That's
Sharon
what
Sherman. I'm sorry.
Liz Sherman.
Liz Sherman. Yes. Boom. Gotcha.
Boom, got
Not
it. We're
sexist.
terrible. Another thing that really bugged me is in the movie
Uh-huh.
when Sonya Blade is trying to like go train, she can't because she doesn't have a birthmark. And I was like, this is some fucking
Right.
dumb boys club shit.
It did.
And
It
that
felt like boys club stuff. The explanation's there, but it's already stupid. And then at that point, it's like, get out of here. We're fucking going to show each other our dicks.
and I guess we'll just go like
That's what it
hang
was,
out.
right?
Yeah. I don't know. It felt like they were like, we're going to do this birthmark thing. And as they were writing, they got to a point where they're like, oh, yeah, Sonya has to be in this. Who cares? We'll just have her get the birthmark from Kano. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
They could have even kept Cole Young, but made him like an effective and champion like MMA fighter who like nobody could beat, and then actually send him an invitation, and then we actually go to Mortal Kombat. That'd have been great.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how the movie
Fighting
should
was
have.
good. It was pretty good. I thought the fighting scenes were
Yeah.
pretty well done.
Yeah. I liked all the Sub-Zero stuff. I thought,
Yeah.
I think I really liked the ending fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Cole. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was just like, it got me back into the movie, which I thought was going to be impossible at that point, but it made me be like, oh, who's going to win? I mean, I know Scorpion's probably going to win because he has to get his revenge. So I'm here for that. But, I just, when he rips off his like armor, I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I thought most of the action was cool. It's just the whole middle of that movie is just not.
It's pretty.
And I hate when they like have a fight scene and then they have to like be like, oh, how is Liu Kang gonna kill this guy? He's gonna get stuck in some mud. I was like, what? Come on, man. I wanted to see him do like the whole like woozy, like, oh, I can't stand up.
Was
and then
whack.
it's like
that fight was going really well, and then all of a sudden he's like, what's this? And I think, it's not so much the budgetary constraints, because you can see that they're there, but it's the creative constraints that those are much harder to remedy. And I think anybody who's ever tried to write a script knows this. But and I mean, you could just tell if you're a movie fan, you probably know this. But it seemed like they wrote themselves into a couple holes, and rather than dig themselves out or climb out, they just dug a tunnel to the next fucking. I don't know if that worked at all, but out of 10 disappointingly gory, somewhat fun romps into Outworld, how much do you give this one? That was bad.
So I originally, after this movie was over, Brock goes, after we talked about it, he goes, well, what's your score? And I said 1 out of 10 because I can't give it a 0. And then today I was thinking about it. I was like, there's some stuff I like, so I'm going to give it a 2. And then I was like, then I thought about it a little more, and then I said, this is my final score. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.
Wow.
So honestly, I don't want to rewatch it. I was going to try, I was hoping I got out of work today. And then when we did this at 8, I was kind of hoping that I could get in some of the cooler scenes and kind of fast forward through some of the BS and kind of pick and choose some stuff to watch. And maybe I would have enjoyed it more. And also I will say, maybe this is something I just need to a couple months, before it ends, maybe I'll watch it before it leaves the streaming site, and maybe I'll find another appreciation and kind of get to that 50-50 mark. Yeah. But as it stands, 3 out of 10.
Yeah, it's going to take a real fucking dope Snyder cut version of the next MK to make this one better.
Dude, got to get you got to get Matt Reeves on that shit or something. Somebody that's got a good track record for reviving franchises. It's called Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was one of the greatest movies I ever saw.
And War's good too.
Not so much. It's okay.
Well, it's better than Rise.
That's true. But so out of 10 ice swords, I'm going to go ahead just because I totally get the criticisms. I totally do. I can totally understand it. But it worked enough for me throughout in terms of where my expectations were. And, I just said to myself, as long as the costumes are cool, the powers look good, and the fighting is good, I'm okay with whatever stupid shit. So I expected some stupid shit. Not as stupid as it was, which was surprising, but I did. But also, the setting I saw it in with my buddy, who he and I have been, we've been opponents in Mortal Kombat for years. So that was a really kind of special nostalgic kind of moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and give the whole goddamn thing a 7 out of 10.
Woo,
that's how I feel about it. I tried to watch it a second time today, and it gets real stupid real quick. That first scene is great. It definitely warrants, in my opinion, kind of a fast forward and pause situation, or throw on at a party. Really, throw it on a projector at a party. Maybe not now; it's way too soon. But at some point, when the music kicks in, somebody's drunk enough, they're watching it. They're like, this really wasn't that bad. But time will tell on that.
I do hope that it like maybe gets the kind of Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes treatment, where we get someone who's a good writer, understands the material he's adapting, and can like kind of save it. So you have like the beginning one that's like, well, I like parts of it, but it's also not good. But then you get two really great sequels.
Yeah, that would be great.
Those are my hopes and my dreams. That's what I'm going to dream about tonight. That's what I pray for.
It's a bad time too, because probably not a whole lot of people. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what the box office numbers look like? I guess we could have looked that up, but I can't count. So, we'll see what happens. And if it's, if it dies off, we'll get another one in like 4 years, and we'll probably get an even better game. So that'll be cool.
Cole Young's going to show up now.
You know what I hope for you, though, Matty? And for all those gamers out there who are kind of similar and like are not super into fighting games, I suck at fighting games. I'm okay at Mortal Kombat, but I really like what's going on there in that regard. But I hope they make more and better versions of like those mythologies and side stories where you can go on an adventure with some of these MK characters. Yeah. That's what I want for Matty and for all you other gamers out there, and for myself.
The thing is I remember when the comics came out, like they had a whole run of comics. I forget who published them, but like I had some of those. Like there'd be like a Scorpion run and a Sub-Zero run. It would tell their past, and I was like, I love the way these characters look. Like I'm there for it, man. I'm there for the world. I'm there for the mythology. I think it's so like rich, and just like waiting for like the budget, and maybe that has a lot to do with the way this movie is the way it is. But I just feel like there's a lot of weird stuff and a lot of stuff that it's like almost like I feel like a lot of the stuff is when I look at it, I'm like, this is like if Clive Barker made a fighting game,
a ninja game.
Okay, yeah, because it's just like some weird characters. Because awesome. Goro, like I will say, this is kind of like a deep cut. I think Goro in this looked like the creature Rawhead Rex, and if you have not seen that movie, it is it is like a B movie. It's kind of schlocky. I hear the short story is a little better than the actual movie, but for those who know, I kind of dug the way Goro looked, because I was like, this looks like Rawhead Rex. This is pretty sick. Yeah. So I was like, that's my comparison. The
first few allusions to him were really cool too. Some of the background setting, and so even some of those like really lazily planted Easter eggs, like Katana's fan and Shinnok's amulet or whatever.
Yeah,
were nice. Thanks. Even strip mining some of the 3 to 4, what is it, 4 to 8 characters.
Yeah, I have a question. The winged demon lady, is she was she in the games?
She's from like one of, I think, the 3D. I think she looks totally different, but she's from one of like the 3D 64 era Mortal Kombat's Deception, maybe, I want to say.
Yeah.
Please correct us if we're wrong there. What was her name? Natara or something like that. And
I don't know.
It was cool to see her flying around and stuff. And I wish they would have taken some shots or whatever, and we'd have gotten a little bit more of Kung Lao fighting, because you could have done with more of that scene and less of other things. But it was, I liked the grinding saw fatality thing, but I felt like they should have at least had like a little fight going.
Yeah, man, she just like flies around, lands on that statue, and then he's like, I know where you are. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm really, I'm at bat for it, but we're final verdict down here. I'd say 5.5 out of 10, but I don't think that accurately reflects Matty's disdain for aspects of the movie.
I do want to say I'm glad that people who enjoy Mortal Kombat seem to really enjoy this movie, and that's awesome, because like I was having a conversation with someone about like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I don't think are solid films at all, but I get the fandom, dude. I love Alien. I can find a bunch of stuff in those movies I like, but I can also tear it apart, PS2 GameCube era, Armageddon is the game. Jerry with the save.
Jerry in with the win, boy.
Yeah. But I do want to say that I'm glad that people are enjoying it. I do hope that like these people will like give it whatever push it needs to get that sequel and get the true Mortal Kombat they want.
Hmm.
And I'm glad it's not across the board,
Same.
just a movie that everyone hated. I mean, that would be great if we could all come together in our hate, but I do like that people are like they're finding joy in this. Like you're getting like you're finding these moments that you really like, and
Yeah.
just for me as a like I can't not look at it as a film because I'm not playing it. So
Right.
when people say stuff like, "Oh, the stories in the games aren't that good," I'm like, "Yeah, dude, but it's a movie. It's
You're like, well,
you
that's
gotta
your fault. It's
yeah, I
your
mean, but
problem.
that's fine because you have like you have like a roster of 20 plus characters maybe, and you have to
Yeah.
make a story
Yeah.
for all of them. It's like, dude, of course, it's like
Yeah.
a movie's more like the simplified version of, pulling the best of the best from those franchises.
Yeah.
But I'm glad people are liking it. I'm not like as
We
bitter
need an
enough that
HBO
everyone should hate it.
Max series with some real consulting from some of the
I mean,
games
Joe Taslim's
developers.
already on that payroll. They're doing Warrior Season 3.
Yes. So that's what this was all about. I was really happy with Joe Taslim's Sub Zero. I thought he was
Oh,
great. I thought
dude,
he could even been more so. But they really don't show you enough of
I want
what
that
this guy
spin-off
can
series,
do.
baby.
Him or Scorpion actor, what is his name? Hiroyuki Sanada, I think.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Both of these guys are such amazing actors and are in really great movies. Joe Taslim in particular. We say it here every episode pretty much. Go watch Warrior. It just got a third season. It's ramping up. It's some real good shit. If you don't know what it is, just go ahead and Google it. Watch a trailer or something. I guarantee you will love it. It's like
If you
Deadwood
watched,
with Kung Fu.
yeah, no, that's a really good comparison. I would say so.
Thanks.
Uh, if you watched Mortal Kombat and you're like, who is Sub Zero? Who is this guy? Watch Warrior.
He's a bad mofo. He was
He's
also in the
also,
Raid Part 2,
yep, yep, he is. And
which
I
is
don't
a
remember the
fun
character
movie.
he
You
played.
know, yeah.
It's a bit long, Stefan. It's a
It's a
bit
bit
long, and it
long.
doesn't need to be.
I get totally taken by the, like the gangsterism kind of stuff that they pull from American films and put in that one. It was kind of a nice love letter to American gangster films in a way, Will being this Indonesian martial arts film. But yeah, it's a little overbloated, and by the end of it, you're like, let's just kill the last guy. Let's go. Like,
Dude.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I do like the Raid movies, and I like all those guys that are a part of that whole world because they're all amazing martial artists,
Yeah.
and I'll watch anything they do most of the time.
Anything else you wanted to talk about before we head out?
I mean, there's always stuff to talk about, Stefan.
Can you tell these people what's worth their time?
Ooh, dude, Invincible is amazing on Amazon Prime. If you're not watching it, I will go ahead and say this. I think it's the best show on television right now. Finished up that Falcon Winter
Nice.
Soldier, which I assume Stefan and I will be getting into the nitty
Yeah.
gritty of.
We're gonna another superhero slam coming this next week. We'll be wrapping
Yeah.
up with all this superhero stuff that's been going on, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, I did watch Maniac Cop for the first time. It's on
Nice.
Shudder, and the sequel is too. I'm
Yes.
going to plan to watch it soon.
Maniac
Because
Cop
I
rules.
forgot that like Nicholas Winding Refn, or however you say that guy's name, is doing an Amazon series of Maniac
Yeah,
Cop
I
or
remember
something.
reading that.
And
Yep.
I was like, wait, I've never seen this movie, and it's referenced a lot. The character's pretty iconic in the horror
Mm-hmm.
world. So I watched it, and it's a hell of a good time. Young Bruce Campbell, he's kind of sexist in it, but it's the 80s, so what are you
Yeah.
going to do? But yeah, pretty fun little slasher flick. I recommend that. And then I watched a movie called Boys from County Hell, which is an Irish
Huh.
kind of Shaun of the Dead, but with like their lore of their vampire, which I guess I didn't research this. I'm sure it's true, or they're making it up, whatever. Sounds pretty legit. Can't pronounce the vampire's name, but apparently Bram Stoker heard about this legend, and that's how Dracula
Whoa.
came to be about. And
No
Dracula's
way.
more popular than this Irish tale, and it's about the town where this creature originated, and he
I feel
gets
like that was
unleashed.
in lore. I feel like they covered in that show lore.
Oh, I watched like an
Maybe.
episode or two, and I just like couldn't get into it.
I liked the
But
first season when it was all animated, and then the second season they got money and they had actors and stuff, and like that was okay, but it was just like, give me the cartoons.
I think his name's like the original vampire is like Abernathy or something weird like that. It starts with an A. They would say it, but their Irish
Yeah.
accents didn't make it easy for me to like translate it to my head, and I'm not going to do
Yeah.
an Irish accent. But
Nice.
yeah, it was a fun movie. I mean, it doesn't like It's not as good as Shaun of the Dead or anything that's like that, has come after Shaun of the Dead, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're just looking for something, the vampire, like the creature effects are pretty solid, some good, decent gore. But I like Irish horror films, man. They're not a
Yeah.
lot of them, but they're pretty solid most of the
We
time.
got to
But
do a visit of do like more best of stuff like we're doing with the early podcast and
yeah,
cover like best Irish horror films, for
there's some good ones.
instance.
I got a list, man.
Yeah.
What you been
Yeah.
watching?
So I have been this last week immersing myself in like different documentaries having to do with either the alt-right or like religious leaders or the mix of both. And like I've been watching The Vow on HBO Max. That's about the Nixium sex cult that Allison Mack from Smallville was a part of. Man, twisted. This whole thing, I'm almost done with it. Twisted, but I've been immersed in this kind of like this, all these different things that are about like megalomaniacs and cult leaders and stuff. And I feel like I'm learning a lot about the way that people kind of, I don't know, the psychology that can be manipulated and how easily people can, like, cults are just, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just like, are you planning this to get more members for the Ocha Movie Club?
Yeah, I'm
Are
learning
we going to move
tactics,
out to a
actually.
compound and talk
I'm
about
learning
Mortal
tactics.
Kombat?
The main guy, I'm just on a part near the end of The Vow, not to spoil it, but on a part where they're really digging into this Keith Raniere guy and how like monstrous he really is, and some of the classes that he was teaching or whatever. He's really misogynistic, and his curriculum is that way. But he's got all like a majority of women followers and stuff, and it's like so crazy. But what was I getting at? Oh, I don't know why I've been so fascinated by it. I just want to find like an understanding as to like like how people get so swept up in things that to me would seem like obviously like cult stuff, or like just like I'm just not a go with the flow or go with the crowd kind of person, so I've never been like swayed by like that person's got what I need. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
I got what I need, and sometimes I don't even got what I need, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been very fascinated by it. Vice News has their YouTube channel. Watch a lot of YouTube, so I've been watching a lot of documentaries they're producing about like the alt-right and stuff like that, and the history of racism. Exterminate All the Brutes on HBO Max is also a really cool, lyrical, weird documentary, experimental documentary about the cultural implications of racism and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've just been really steeped in it, and I just like feel like it's like people in general are like much better off, like kind of, I don't know. Nobody's got the answers out there, man. Especially
Yeah.
not somebody asking you for your credit card information. But I do understand that people need certain
Nice.
things in life, and they need guidance and stuff. And I'm just like, fake it till you make it, baby. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Don't listen to me, that's for sure. You're right. In the immortal words of Bill Hicks, you're right.
Anytime I watch like a horror movie
It's
around a
my Alex
cult, I'm
Jones
always
show.
like, I'm always like, why would you stay? Like, why? I don't. I would be the person that's like, see you guys later. Like Midsummer, I'd been like, this is weird. I'm out.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been like, let's just see what happens. Let's do some more drugs. I'd be like, I'm all right. I'm good.
I'm like that at parties when I might even have more fun if I did participate, but I just get into some places and I'm just like, man, like what is it about people that like I could see maybe 2 or 3 of us, 4 of us, but like 30 of us? Well, like where's kind of snacks do they got?
Yeah, right. That's the. Well, you guys have pizza every
No.
night. I'm
I
in.
love parties, obviously. I like partying with my friends, and one day we're going to get to do it again. But I guess my point was just kind of to that, like, uh, I don't know. When basically, if I'm at a party and there's a conversation, somebody sounds like they're speaking bullshit, then I walk away.
Yeah,
And I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb to keeping yourself out of a cult.
I agree.
You know?
I'll go to
It's
that
kept me
cult,
safe
Stefan.
now, yeah. But I got to be careful of what I say, because then people are gonna start following me, and then the whole thing go out of hand. So, just kidding. That's stupid. But yeah, there's some crazy people out there. Well, and you can't even say crazy. Crazy doesn't even define it. There's just some insanely effective psychological manipulation techniques that people take advantage of, and especially of people who are seeking help, and that ain't cool. And so anyway,
No.
that guy got 120 years in prison for racketeering and sex trafficking over the course of about 30 years of these organizations he worked in. So that's
I'm
not
gonna go
enough.
watch this. It sounds
Watch that
so
shit.
intriguing.
120
And
years is not enough for this dude. He is a super villain, dude. If he was trying to get into corporations and politics using his psychological cult trickster stuff, but then he got to the like self-help crowd and kind of got his tendrils in through there. Anyway, so that's what I've been watching, some like cult leader stuff, and it's fascinating for sure, but damn, it makes me mad. It makes me angry. Yeah, so that's been good. Other than that, I saw The Devil for the first time.
what were your
Korean
thoughts?
film by, oh man, I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher it, but I loved it. It was a great movie. It's wild. It feels like,
Yes.
I feel like some of the or some of the Korean movies that I've seen, like I feel like the Coen brothers had like a real influence over there somehow. Maybe just because they make great movies, but
Well, I
it
think it's
felt
a. I
kind
think
of
it's
like,
probably like where it's like serious subject matter, but it's a lot of dark humor. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
I guess
just
that's what it is for sure. Because it was
um,
brutal. This movie is brutal, and it has a lot of really deep waters to tread. But
I will.
there's
I
some
love
parts
that
where you're just
movie.
like, yeah,
I love that movie, but I had no idea what I was getting into when I
yeah,
watched it. I did not
yeah.
know it was going to go to where it went.
I'm glad I didn't either. Really, I was astounded. It's such a great film, and like Parasite that came out a couple years ago, a year ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Even that, something about Korean cinema. Watch more world cinema. Like the director himself said, don't be afraid of those 2 inches at the bottom of the screen. I tend to do a lot of working on stuff when I watch things, but it pays to make a concerted effort to watch some of these Korean movies because they make some fantastic movies. I'm probably
Dude, I agreed.
preaching to the choir here. So I saw The Devil was great. I'm gonna go on a Korean kick now after this cult thing, and watch me more Korean movies. I got some good ideas for more overly critical classics and stuff. It's just been like, I don't want to say lazy, but I've been I've been selectively productive. So
I feel you though,
so
dude. I feel you. It's hard.
yeah, I mean, it's the world. And you're at least you're going to see us once a week talking about superheroes or whatever, but we're going to bring more extra content and to lead us out here. If you'd like to support the show and help us grow, if you like what we're doing on a financial level, head over to our Patreon, check out the incentives that we have there. And if also other ways to support us, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Facebook. When you go to Facebook, we also have a page for Overly Critical Movie Club now, which is, they made me start it so I could use certain labels with some of this software or whatever. I wasn't really keen on making a whole other page for it, but we have that there, and so I'm just kind of like dumping some of our extra little media and articles and stuff that go there. But go to the Facebook group, join the group if you're not part of the group down at the bottom here. Come get in on the conversation with us outside of the episodes, and always be sure to join me and Matty here on Mondays. It looks like now our schedules has changed. We're going to be on Mondays from now on, and if we can swing hot takes on Friday or Saturday, or something like the MK, the way it schedules out, we'll be back. You'll see us.
Oh yeah.
Facebook group. We're on Instagram, Overly Critical Movie Club. I am at STFNSNTCRZ. That's like my personal one. I changed it from the Wolfie Cruz thing, but Wolfie Cruz is still alive in effect. I just have dual identities, so get used to it. And Old Beardo is Matty. I'm also Wolfie Cruz art. That's some of my illustration. I haven't posted in a while, but I have some art that's ready to post. I just have ideas, and they ain't ready yet. We're also on Twitter at Ocha Movie Club. Go check that out. Go check out our TeePublic store. We got some t-shirts for sale up there. More designs to come. I keep saying that, but I promise more designs are to come. I'm going to stop being as selectively productive and get some of that stuff rocked this next week. I got some cool ideas for that. We also have a threadless shop, and there's a couple other alternative design t-shirts there that I couldn't put on TeePublic for various reasons. What else do we got here? Thank you to Daniel Crozier. He's our junior producer over there at the Patreon. That's our $3 Patreon tier. Go ahead and check that out and see if that's something you want to be. We sure would love to have you. But give us a like. Send us a message. You can also check us out on Gmail, and you can send us letters, and we can write back and forth to you, and we'll be buddies. And there's no problem with that. We really enjoy it. Also, check out our Overly Critical Classics on our YouTube channel. Like I said, more of these to come, but we did the Crow deep dive. If you have not seen it, I thought it turned out pretty good. Have all kinds of fun images edited in there and stuff to what we're talking about, and all this behind the scenes information about the making of the Crow film, and tried to be as extensive as possible. Let us know if we missed anything. And I think that's it for my end announcements. Whew, we're going to get out of here. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us this episode. We hope you either enjoyed Mortal Kombat, and if you didn't, come join in on the conversation in our posts today. Thank you guys. I want to say Chris L, Robert, I forgot what your last initial is, some of our buddies. Sorry, guys, I don't have it in front of me, but our buddies over there at the group, thanks for chiming in and get the conversation going about the film. Your comments are appreciated. The conversation started. We're great. I totally feel all your points. Chris, buddy, don't be so cranky. Just playing. You can be as cranky as you want to be, bud. Anyway, Wolfie signing off.
Bye-bye.